What's going on, guys? We are back for another episode. Today we are back at the house with the Project Mazdaspeed 3. Just a few things we're going to go over today. Got some pretty exciting stuff. I was having some issues with the watt box, wasn't engaging. Contacted their support because I was super confused at why it wasn't working. So we fixed that, and we're going to be getting into the port injection getting turned on and dialed in. So stay tuned. Okay, so all my wiring is torn apart because I was trying to track down the watt box issue. Everything was hooked up right, minus one thing. The wire I had tapped for the throttle position sensor was one pin off on the ECU, so ended up tracking that down, fixed it, it worked instantly. So that's good. I got this wiring exposed because I'm about to hook up the fuel pump for the port injection, which is about to go down. Super pumped. If this car is going to start making some crazy power. It's already pretty nuts, so pretty stoked to get it going. Got the feed line all hooked up now, and the plug for the fuel pressure regulator so I don't dump all my fuel out that side. So basically what we need to do is open the fuel cell, fill it full of meth, and once it's full, close it up. I'm going to leave these injectors unplugged. I'll undo the vacuum source to the fuel pressure regulator, and I will final hook up the relay for the pump. And then what will happen is I'll double check everything. I will start the car, and the fuel pressure regulator should be pumped full pressure wise to the gauge, and then on the gauge I'm going to adjust the top screw here until it reads about 43 psi, and then once that's done, I'm going to hook up the vacuum line back up to it, plug the injectors in, turn the car on again, and read the fuel pressure. It should drop down to about 35, Justin said. So once it drops down and I see that it drops, we're good to go. And then it's going to be time to go get some test hits. So we got a pretty exciting episode on this one. Just give you guys a little bit of me working on it and getting things set up and into a test hit with the port injection. The map for the split second is already hooked up. Justin put a special message in there for me when I loaded it on there, in the notes for the tune. It just said, "Get pulled, bitches." So I'm sure he has some fun stuff planned for this thing, and it's going to be pretty quick. Yeah, so we'll be back. All right, so got the race jug full of methanol, and we are going to get the tank full. All of the meths. Okay, so first turn on, everything works great. A little too well because I found a leak, not in here yet. I haven't seen any leaks come through the lines or the filters. The leak I had was coming out of this fitting and a little bit out of the plug and the actual gauge. So I tightened the gauge down really tight. Same with that. And I'm working on this. I scratched it up a little bit, which I hate, but I will touch it up later. And right now I'm just worried about it working and not leaking. So I'm gonna tighten these up real quick so I'm not dripping anything. You can hold my hand down here and I can see a little bit of moisture. So I'm gonna try to tighten that down. I might take it off and verify that the O-ring is actually on there. But yeah, I turn the key on and it fires instantly. So that's good. Just got to check the pressure once it's not leaking, and then we'll go from there. So good progress. So we got her on, and it's right at about 43, right where Justin wants it. I'm not seeing any more leaks. That pump probably seems loud now, but once the car's running, you won't even hear it. Ooh, that fuel rail is cold. Yeah. All right, so next is starting the car and putting this line back on. All right, after a while of messing with this thing, we are up and running at full pressure, 35 psi. I went through about 4 O-rings trying to get it right, kept leaking, and we're good to go. Just gotta take this tape off. I was using the wrench, but yeah, I'm gonna switch the access port over to the new map and get it ready to start spraying. So the tuner, Justin, said we were doing maps yesterday and we were cranking the boost up and he was starting to notice some spool time issues. So he said, hey, go check all your exhaust fittings and pre-turbo and post-turbo fitting or flanges or whatever you got to make sure and fix your leaks, because he pretty much said, hey, you got a leak somewhere because you're not getting all the exhaust gases, which is making it spool later. And so there was a couple of things that needed to be tightened down. Also on the exhaust flange to go to the turbo, there was too much of a lip on the actual V-band, which was setting it off from the turbo housing, and we pulled off the exhaust pipe and it was leaking about 75% of the flange. So we're cleaning that up, and then we're going to go underneath the car and check the wastegate flange and that stuff and make sure it's good to go, and that should solve our issues. Alright, so we're back at the house. Just want to give you guys just like a breakdown of what's going on. I've been super busy. Work's been crazy. But throughout all this week, with the port injection methanol being turned on, me and Justin going back and forth with the tune, dialing stuff in, we were just having a really hard time. I wasn't seeing like full power until almost about 6,000 RPMs, which was really crazy. It was super fast up there, but just taking forever to spool, and all of a sudden it just started getting slower and slower to spool as we were going. So he's like, hey, let's take a break for a minute and see what's going on. He's like, I think you have a pre-turbo exhaust leak. And I'm like, it's funny you say that because it sounds like an exhaust leak. So that's when I showed you in the last clip where Jake was grinding the exhaust flange going to where the turbo is. First off, that was, the flange had like a lip on it that it had too much on it and it was pushing it away from the turbo. So that was causing an exhaust leak post-turbo. Then we had another wastegate issue where the cast iron log manifold I have has a 2-bolt wastegate flange. So I have a 2-bolt to V-band adapter that goes on there. It's held on by 2 bolts. So with that, I was only tightening it with an Allen key because you have to find certain bolts that are really shallow, have a really shallow head that will fit between the flange and the V-band clamp. So it was really tough. So Jake went ahead and fixed it while I was at work, and he killed it. He got it snug. The car is more responsive now than it has been since it got finished. I think there was an exhaust leak from the get-go, solved all the issues, and when I tell you this car feels like a different animal, the tune that Justin has on this right now was pretty crazy, around 6 grand, 6,000 RPM. I hit full boost at 28 pounds by 4,600 RPMs. This car is batshit crazy. It is fucking nuts. So we just cleaned it up. There's here in Tennessee, there's a car meet that goes down every Friday. Big meet. Usually some pretty high horsepower cars. And then there's Friday night drags at the drag strip, local drag strip. And then out to some Mexico. So I'm doing some Mexico prep right now. I have methanol ready to go. Top off the tank, and then I'm gonna put a reserve gallon jug in my car just in case we get crazy. But fill it up. I'm actually surprised. This pump in this car for the methanol is nuts. That thing pumps a crazy amount of fuel. So I want to just wanted to give you guys like a clarification on this video because it's been all over the place. But it is running tip top now. Resent a new map to new log to Justin just for him to check it out. But as of right now, he thinks we're, you know, well over 400 to the wheel right now. The goal is 500 on stock block. The turbo and fuel setup is good for you know, 700 or more. So but rocking stock block, gotta play it safe. So 500 and about 400 torque. But it is scary fast. That last pull I did like scared the shit out of me, which is awesome, and I love it, and it's an adrenaline rush. But yeah, we're gonna continue with some Mexico prep and be ready to go. Just clean the car with the foam cannon, and all right. So last night's Mexico was a bust. There was not many people out, so we just went to the track and watched some races for bracket races. It was a pretty good night. Afterwards, I did a couple pulls in the car. Craziness. It's so quick. But Justin decided, hey, we're not even close to done yet. Well, kind of close, but we're not done yet. So he sent me a new map this morning, and it's currently being loaded on the car. Oh, yep. So it's almost done. Don't know what he added to this one. I think he's smoothing out the boost in this one. And we will be taking her for a rip here in a little bit and see how it goes. The car is extremely quick. I want to really try to see if I can get, and we're done. I want to see if I can get some kind of mount for my phone to sit here, or man, even if I can get it to like sit here or something, I don't know. I have to figure something out. I just really like the way this camera shoots. It shoots in 4K, so it's very efficient for what I'm doing with the channel for now. So we're gonna have to figure out a mount situation for that. But new map's loaded and ready for that new sauce loaded up. Yeah. If you like this video, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. If you want to get notified when I post up videos, hit that little bell next to the subscribe button, and it'll let you know as soon as I post them. Many more videos to come. Thinking this week might be some track testing, so that will be fun. Literally right before I shot this, I sent Justin new logs, and right before I started filming this, I also got new maps back. So we are continuing the tuning process, and it is going super smooth. Otherwise, I hope you guys like this. We'll see you next time. Peace.